This podcast contains explicit content and is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Don't say we didn't warn you.
Hello and welcome. My name is Madison.
And I'm Hannah.
And you are listening to Who's Knocking?
A true crime podcast.
That is us. This week we are back with part 2 of the Luka Magnotta horror show. And so before we get into that, I think I have something to talk about, which is not like news or anything, but it's a book I've been reading.
Okay, tell me. I have news, but I don't even think it's new at this point.
Well, we can talk about it after.
Okay. Your thing first.
So I've been reading this book. It's called Junk Science in the American Criminal Justice System. And it's by Chris Fabricant, who is he's a director of strategic litigation for the Innocence Project. And so this is just about a bunch of the different forensic sciences that were basically proven to be junk science and not legitimate. And they like bite mark evidence, hair analysis, fire and arson analysis, I guess, that put a bunch of people in prison falsely. And she talks about a number of cases, and there's a couple where they were executed, unfortunately.
Wow.
And it's pretty horrific. I can't even tell if that siren is from me or you.
Oh, it's definitely from you.
Okay.
We don't have sirens here.
Oh, no.
Like once in a while.
Don't happen?
Well, rarely.
Yeah, fair enough. There's a siren like every 2 minutes here.
Yeah, that's Toronto for you.
But yeah, anyway, I haven't finished the book, but it's really good. It's really interesting.
That does sound interesting. Is blood spatter considered legitimate?
It's another one of the like not, and I don't see, that's my question too, is like every episode of Forensic Files just like completely illegitimate?
I was thinking Dexter, this guy, but that's not even a real, like that's a TV show.
But what he's saying is like a lot of this is like they really go hard on bite mark analysis, which is like completely made up. Apparently, it was just.
And like also, how often is there bite mark analysis?
Well, like Ted Bundy went down with bite marks.
Did he? Okay.
Which was like one of the big cases that kind of shed a light on bite mark analysis.
Right.
But he's saying that it's like pretty much just a bunch of dentists that like didn't want to do their jobs anymore, so they like started testifying, and like it's like you just find a pattern that in a semicircle and just like say it was bite mark, and then say like the rate of falsely associating the bite with the correct person is like 66%. It was so bad.
That's really bad.
And they just like created, all these dentists like created their own association of forensic dentistry and all this shit, and just like pretty much just made up a forensic art. And it's like, it really is an art versus like something solid. It was like DNA that later came in that is actually solid evidence, and that was able to exonerate people because that's how they were able to say like, no, this was not that person or whatever. And the fire pattern analysis too, that's been proven to be often really poorly done, or just misidentifying things as like a burn pattern or like an accelerant or whatever, when it's really just how it naturally occurred.
Weird.
Well, it's fascinating because you start looking into how many people were tried and convicted based on
that
these
part
type of forensics, and it's staggering numbers. And then it's like they had to start going through and like looking at all these cases to see if it was just riding on that analysis, because it's very easy to to go into a courtroom and say like, I'm an expert witness. This hair is consistent with this person, or like this bite mark, there's like a 1 in a million chance that it could be this person. It's like, it's very easy to convince random people on a jury that this is legitimate science, when in reality it's based on literally nothing.
That's crazy.
So it's I'm almost done, and it's very interesting. And I like the Innocence Project, I'm sure most people know, is one of the big it was like a group of lawyers, I think, that they started, just trying to exonerate innocent people in prison, and they've done really awesome work. So it's kind of cool.
Which kind of ties into the news that I was going to talk about, which is that the judge denied the West Memphis Three's DNA to be retested.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. Did you saw that? Right?
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet, but I saw that Damien Echols put out a video on it.
I saw that
YouTube.
too, but it was like an hour long. So
yeah, he has a YouTube channel, and he's so weird. His YouTube channel is all about like alchemy, like witchcraft, and like all this weird shit. No, I think it's
try to
great.
watch, but it was mostly just him talking, so I don't like, do I have that attention span? I don't know.
And he has the funniest looking beard. He looks like a wizard.
He does have a lot of beard, like a lot of beard.
It's so aggressively wizard-like.
Yeah, it really is. Well, I think that's the vibe he's going for. So
yeah, he has that like Harry Potter vibe. Like,
well, I love Harry Potter, so
agreed.
I'm fine with that.
No, and I think he's a cool guy. I think people who are weird and nerdy and whatever, like, that's awesome. I do not say that I do not say that offensively.
Yeah.
I think he's a freaking cool guy. Is he still married to Lori?
I'm pretty sure he's married. I don't know if it's to the same person. It probably is.
Probably. I read his biography or autobiography back in the day.
Was that written when he was still in prison?
I think it was right after.
Right. Like right when he got out. So a while ago now.
Yeah. It was a while ago. And I was listening to another podcast that Jason Baldwin was a part of.
Oh, really?
He was a part of some group. It was this journalist, or I don't know if she's a podcast girl or whatever, who was looking into a case of like a guy and trying to find out if he was wrongly convicted or not. And she like got the help of some group. I guess it was kind of like the Innocence Project. It might have even been the Innocence Project, and they sent Jason Baldwin and someone else to like come help her or whatever.
I haven't heard anything about what he's up to. I feel like Damien's the one who kind of stayed in the spotlight.
Kind of, but I think Jason started doing like exoneration work and stuff.
That's cool, but not as much like in the spotlight, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Damien Echols always wears what's it called? Transition lenses. Also
very wizard-like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the I guess the important thing is that they tried to do DNA analysis. And I think, remember when I talked about that that series where it was called, what was it called? The Lost Memphis 3 or something?
Oh,
The Forgotten.
Oh, yes.
Memphis 3?
About the kids.
I'm pretty sure it was like, I have to assume, I'm assuming here, that it's the same DNA that they wanted to test in that case, where the guy was trying to reach out to I don't remember if it was a DA or whatever, to test that DNA, and everyone was just ignoring him.
It must be. How much evidence is there, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, goddamn, we just want to know whose fucking DNA that is. Like,
and do they still just have it sitting there? It's like,
yeah,
can you just test it though?
Yeah, like, why would you not test it?
Yeah.
Why is it even a question?
If you're even sure that the West Memphis 3 are guilty, then just test it and prove it.
Then they're guilty.
And they're out now, so wouldn't we want to like know either way?
Exactly.
Is Terry Hobbs still alive?
I believe so. I have not heard that he died.
Okay, we probably would hear if he did.
Probably.
Watch him
I don't
make
know.
deathbed confessional that he did it.
Well, there members of his family have come out and said that he did, that he's admitted it to them.
I've heard that too, but I don't know if it's like,
Yeah, it's not, that's
internet
not,
gossip.
that is not solid evidence, but
Yeah.
like it just adds to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that's the news. That's the tea. Let's get
That's the
into
tea.
let's get into the episode. And I'm Sans
Okay.
baby today, but I am with new cold. So sorry.
Fresh and new.
Just always something with me. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
All
I have a
right.
new dog that's tapping for attention right now. So
Well, I don't hear it, so hopefully
that's good.
hopefully we don't hear it later. But yeah, let's get into it. So where we last left off, okay, I'll give a generous recap.
Oh,
Um,
thank you so much.
you're so welcome. And I didn't write it down, so I'm just going off the cuff here. We met
Okay.
Eric Newman, who later turned into Luca Magnotta.
Yeah.
He came from a pretty tumultuous family life situation. His mother was super germophobic and like freaky, and the dad, schizophrenic alcoholic, may or may not have introduced him to bestiality and other. Then he moved to Toronto, got involved in the big gay scene down here,
Yep.
started stripping, escorting, doing porn, getting surgeries, auditioning for reality shows, etc., etc.
Yep. I remember.
Met that girl online and stole from her and
Oh,
allegedly
yeah.
sexually assaulted her on camera, but basically got away with that with a slap on the wrist. And then he was just starving for attention, and wasn't getting any, even though he was doing his very best to put himself out there online. And
Yep.
when things were not going his way, he started posting super fucked up videos of him torturing and killing kittens. And that's when he started
Oh,
getting attention. A group of online internet people of the internet formed and began looking to see if they could figure out who this person was posting these anonymous videos. And they
yep.
ended up figuring out who it was, but then the problem was trying to actually locate him. um, I guess he didn't lease, like rent any property under his own name or have any credit cards or anything that could really identify who or where he was. So the last we left off, he had just gone to the UK, caused some shit down there. Then he came and he moved to Montreal. They found out that he moved to Montreal, and they were trying to get the Montreal police involved, but the Montreal police were not really interested in listening to these. Excuse me, sorry,
They
I'm just pulling
kind
this over.
of give a shit
Pardon
in
me?
general. The Montreal police, they kind of don't give a shit in general.
Is that true? Yeah, I don't,
Yes.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
So that is where we left off. And I'm going to introduce you to Joon Lin.
Okay.
So in July of 2011, 33-year-old Joon Lin moved to Montreal to pursue a degree in computer science at Concordia University. Joon Lin came from Wuhan, China, and wanted to get a Canadian education so that he could get a job and support the rest of his family back home. I believe he was an only child, or if he was not an only child, he was at least the only boy in his family. So it was like
Okay.
a really big deal. Um, when he moved to Montreal, he would speak to his mother daily, and she was really worried about him just going off on his own for the first time ever, but he was constantly reassuring her that he was safe. I hear a baby screaming. And he was really at ease being in Canada, really liked Canada. His mother didn't think Canada was a dangerous place by any means, but it's just an unfamiliar country. So, ew, sorry, I'm so sorry. Junlin was very much enjoying himself. He felt very safe and happy in Montreal. He had a part-time job working at a convenience store, and he lived with a roommate in the Griffintown area in an apartment.
Cool.
Do you know
Area is
Griffintown?
very trend. very trendy now. It used to be kind of like, I would say like a lower income area, but in the past, like I left Montreal in 2015, and since then, or even starting then, Griffintown is like the place to be now.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. Well, that's where he was. Now, Joon Lin
Cool.
was a gay man, and
Mhm.
being in Montreal, he was finally able to be himself.
Yeah.
It seems like he had never been able to really come out or um like identify as a gay man
Yeah.
back home. So I'd have to imagine that it must have been not only very exciting but also liberating to finally get to, be your authentic self. And I would have to assume that was probably like the most exciting part about coming to Canada, was just knowing that he could be openly gay,
For
where
sure.
for whatever reason he didn't feel he could back home. Now, it was around this time that Luca began to start hinting about a new video,
Oh
and
God.
he called it One Lunatic, One Ice Pick.
Okay.
He posted a picture of himself, like kind of with a purple hoodie kind of obscuring his face.
He's so annoying.
Yeah, holding an ice pick in front of, I think it was some movie poster. Let me
Casablanca
see.
is that?
It it was, yeah, in front of a Casablanca um poster. I'll have
I
the
don't know
photo
why I
here.
remember the most like random unnecessary facts about these cases.
Well, because these facts do come into play
Yeah,
later.
that's true. Yeah.
Um, so somebody, and I believe this was one of his fake people,
Mm.
commented on the picture, quote, "I hear it's pretty disturbing," end quote,
Ugh, stop it.
commenting about this alleged video. Then he commented, as someone else again on another forum, quote, "Where can I watch One Lunatic, One Ice Pick video? I've been trying to find it for weeks," end quote. There were a few other comments as well, like that. And it's like, clearly it was him, because literally nobody
Ugh.
cares about this person online. Now, on May 24th, Joon Lin did not show up for work, and friends of his had not seen him in a week. Some of them reached out to his family to see if they had heard from him, and everybody started getting very worried. Then on May 25th, the actual video, One Lunatic, One Ice Pick, showed up online, and it was exactly what the internet sleuths were very afraid of.
Oh no.
So, warning, very disturbing content ahead. Listen at your own risk. So, the video is 11 minutes long. It shows a man tied to a bed, alive and moving, and like you can't really see his face. I have not watched this video.
I was gonna ask,
Obviously.
yeah.
I wouldn't. Oh, no,
You wouldn't touch it.
no. There's
Me neither.
in Don't Fuck with Cats. They show pieces of it. So
Do
like,
they?
yeah, oh yeah, not of any
Like
part
the
that's like actually the murder or whatever.
okay.
Just like you can't even see his face. You just see like a body, and you can tell they're tied up.
Uh
It's extremely disturbing.
so
Even the little bit I've seen is extremely disturbing.
I haven't watched it either and I won't, but was because just because what we were talking about last time about some of his interviews being on YouTube, I had just searched him on YouTube. I came across this guy who did a reaction video to the tape,
To
which
watching
is
it,
yeah. So, but in the video, it was like blurred in the background. I didn't watch the whole thing, but apparently, like I just like looked at some of the comments, and it was like you can still kind of tell what's happening.
ugh,
And then he lists like people are like, "Where can we see it? I really want to see it." And he's like, "Here's the website. You can see it.
yeah, you can definitely find it. I
It's
was
out
looking
there."
for a picture when I was looking for the picture of him with the ice pick that I was just telling you about. I typed in
Yeah.
like Luka Magnotta ice pick, and a lot of like, you can watch the video here came up,
Ugh.
which is so like, I just
No,
don't
thank
understand
you.
why would you even want to watch that?
Honestly, morbid curiosity is the same reason that took me to the crime scine Reddit. Do you
I
remember when I went
guess,
on it last week
but
and
there's like
instantly regretted it?
something about it. Yeah. I don't want to do this. I don't. But there's like something about it that's like there seems to be like a clear line to me where it's
Yeah,
like,
100%.
but like what is it? I don't even know.
I think that
Like
a lot of
watching someone
people, like,
get killed, I think is really scary.
yeah, well, that video, the three guys, one hammer or whatever, that went around, and it seems like a lot of people just kind of wanted to, like, I guess the shock value
Yeah, I feel like people would watch something like that and not really take in how disturbing it's going to
and
be,
how
and then they
real
will
it
regret it.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Ugh,
yeah, you gotta
ugh.
regret it.
Yeah. So anyway, so in this video, it shows a man tied to a bed, alive and moving, and then it jumps to a shot of him clearly dead,
Yeah.
and someone stabs the body repeatedly with an ice pick, like
Does it just show
very,
like the arm stabbing him?
yeah, it does not
Okay.
show his face.
Does not show the lunatic.
No. And then there's on the video, he dismembers the body with a knife. And at some point, he chops off a piece of flesh off the body and tried to feed it to a dog.
Oh, what kind of dog?
A dog, I think it might have been a puppy. I don't know what type of dog. But yeah, he's got a dog there with him.
Wow, it's like shocking to me that I didn't know a dog was involved in this case.
Yeah, and he doesn't live.
No.
Just a warning.
Oh, this
It's
couldn't
gonna
get
come
any
up later.
worse. Okay.
So, and then apparently he then has sex with the dead body.
Ew.
In the background of the video, the song True Faith by New Order plays.
That
And
song's ruined forever.
yeah. And there's also a poster from the 1942 film Casablanca hanging on the wall. So it's the same Casablanca photo
Right.
or poster. Only 4 days after the video was published, a janitor found a dismembered body in a suitcase behind the Dick Harry Boulevard apartments. Well, it was just a torso in a suitcase.
That's terrifying.
Along with the torso, investigators also found a wine bottle, a yellow t-shirt, I believe it was a Keith Haring t-shirt,
Oh, shout out.
the dog who was present in the video,
Aww.
a blanket, papers and an Ontario driver's license, receipts and invoices with Luca Magnotta's name and address. And I think the driver's license was also Luca Magnotta's.
Dude,
And
like, are you trying to cover up or no?
and the Casablanca photo. But look, he is trying to get caught. Like he's setting this whole thing in motion, right?
Yeah, I
No,
guess so, yeah.
originally the police thought that Luca Magnotta, whose name was on the documents and the license, was the victim of the murder.
Right.
And this made them a little bit less diligent with their evidence collection than they otherwise would have been, because they're like, oh, this is the victim. Which kind of sucked.
Though nobody would be so stupid as to leave their information.
Yeah, right. That's what you would assume.
It's not
a crazy
that
assumption.
Twisted and psychotic.
Yeah. Now, what the police were unaware of at the time was that several hours after murdering Joon Lin, Luca Magnotta bought a plane ticket from Montreal to Paris under his own name.
Okay.
The police searched Luca Magnotta's apartment, and I think you might have watched this video last time.
Yes, that's where I came across that reaction video.
Yeah, and they found blood all over the place. Also, it was like completely disgusting.
Apartment 208, which is adjacent to mine, there was an overwhelming smelled like rotten meat, and there were policemen all over the place. And then the detectives came to show me some pictures. Picture of an Asian fella, which I'd never seen before. As far as I could tell, the body was dismembered there, and they found the body parts there. Nobody said they found the body parts in there, but I saw them walk out with like thermoses. They had thermoses when they walked out, and the smell was overwhelming.
There was a weird note written on the wall.
Yeah, I know the weird note.
It said, quote,
was it on the mirror or something?
Yeah, it was, well, I don't know if it was on the mirror, but it was like by the mirror or something.
Okay.
And it said, quote, if you don't like the reflection, don't look in the mirror. I don't care. Oh. End quote.
Yeah, the quote was about the mirror, not on the mirror.
Yeah. So Luca Magnotta had fled the country, but on his way, he posted a bunch of stuff online about people in his life who he felt had wronged him. And he signed it all under the name Barbie, his ex-girlfriend. She later was like, I don't know why the fuck he did that.
I mean, the workings of his mind are a bit of a mystery to all of us, but
yep. Then on May 29th, 2012, a bloody package showed up at the national headquarters of the Conservative Party of Canada. Inside the package, there was a foul-smelling left foot wrapped in a pink silk paper that had been
Dear
marked
God.
with a red heart. There was a note with the foot that said that there were a total of 6 body parts that had been mailed out and that the perpetrator would kill again. And there was also a poem that read, quote, "Roses are red, violets are blue. You'll need dental records to identify you, bitch." End quote.
Oh my God. He's a worse poet than BTK.
Yeah, there's like, I don't know which one is worse, but
No,
my God.
I don't know. BTK tried a little harder at least.
Yeah, this is just, and roses are red, violets are blue, which is like the easiest poem you can
Yeah.
write.
So annoying. He's just, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, then that's when people really started paying attention.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Then there was another package that was intercepted at a Canada Post processing facility. And this one contained a left hand, and it had been addressed to the Canadian Liberal Party. So I guess he's not he doesn't dislike one party over the other.
Yeah.
Equally disgusting packages sent to each. By May 30th, the police were able to confirm that the hand and foot belonged to the same person whose torso was found in the suitcase.
Okay.
And that person they discovered was Joon Lin. And at that point, Luka Magnotta became suspect number 1.
Hey, Madison, do we know how he got him into the apartment? Like how he got him there?
So it is believed, and I'm pretty sure that they know this, that the pair met on Craigslist.
Oh, okay.
And it was like a date basically that was set up.
Okay.
I don't know the exact, like what exactly he said to him, if it was like a hookup type thing or whatever it was, but also there's video footage, and I'll put it in at some point, I think kind of right around here. There's video footage of him bringing Joon Lin into the apartment.
I've seen that.
And then later when he's like discarding of all the evidence, he's wearing Joon Lin's t-shirt, which is like super enraging. And it is that Keith Haring t-shirt that I told you about that was found.
And he probably, like, I'm assuming, might have like drugged him or subdued him in some type of way.
It's very possible. Like, I don't know if he got him tied to the bed by being like, this is like a sex thing that we're gonna do. We're gonna like, and that it was a consenting thing. We don't know. I don't know if there was drugs involved, but it could have been any of them.
Okay.
But we know that he like consensually came into the apartment,
right?
And that's clear.
It wasn't like
video footage.
It wasn't like he kidnapped him.
No.
Got it.
Yeah. So then 2 more packages were delivered. One on June 5th, there was a box containing a right foot, and it was delivered to the St. George School in Vancouver, BC.
Was that like a school related to him in any way?
I have no idea. They're
How
just
did he
like
find
random.
this school?
I don't know, because there's
also I know a bunch of people who went to that school.
Really?
I just realized.
That's random.
Nobody ever told me about that, except I guess it was happening while I was at school in Montreal, and that's
yeah.
Weird that I didn't know about that.
It was when we were like right finishing high school.
Imagine that happening at your school, like at our school that we went to.
Well, imagine
what the fuck.
I think it was, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was like some sort of secretary who got the Conservative Party box. And it's like
someone so unsuspecting.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was another containing the right hand, and it was sent to False Creek Elementary School in Vancouver, BC.
For some reason, I knew about the Conservative and Liberal Party, and that kind of makes sense because obviously something political is going to get you in the news. But why the high school and elementary school? So random.
Yeah, that
seemingly random.
I don't understand at all.
Not like he sent it to his elementary school in Scarborough. Oh, right.
Yeah, because like I don't recall him ever being in BC as a kid.
Like, did he like search up on the internet, like, what are some schools in BC? Like, why?
I think I would have to imagine he just was trying to get on the news or like trying to get
like
media
spread
attention.
Yeah. Okay.
So police were able, and I was just telling you about the video footage, but they were able to track down this footage of him coming in and out of the building, and also of him sending his packages, and like at the mail facility, like everything he did was on camera. There's also video footage of him at the airport fleeing to Paris.
Right.
Now, once the police put everything together, which wasn't very hard, They put out an arrest warrant for Luka Magnotta, which was quickly upgraded to a Canada-wide warrant from the RCMP. And the charges were these: 1, first-degree murder; 2, committing an indignity on a dead body, 3, publishing obscene materials; 4, mailing obscene, indecent, immoral, or scurrilous material; 5,
Not scurrilous.
I know it's such a weird word. 5, criminally harassing Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper and several unarmed members of parliament. Then, knowing that Luca had fled the country on May 31st, 2012, at the request of Canadian authorities, Interpol issued a red notice for Luka Magnotta.
I'm just Googling Luka Magnotta dog. I just need to know.
Let me know if you find it. Authorities knew that Luca had made it to Paris. They traced his cell phone signals to a hotel in Bagnolet, but by the time they got there, Luca was gone. He left behind an air sickness bag and some pornographic magazines.
Of course, he can't go anywhere without leaving behind something.
Yeah. The police were then.
I see a photo with the python.
I saw that photo too. We can put it in. The police then contacted a man who had let Luca stay with him for 2 nights. He had met Luca on a previous trip to Paris when he figured out that he was wanted for murder. He went to the police and told them everything he knew. He gave the police the phone number that I was definitely hearing a baby.
I heard that.
Ignore him. He gave the police the phone number that Luca had used to make contact with him, which was a French number. And from that, the police figured out that he'd gotten himself a phone in France. So they were able to track down the next hotel that he'd been staying at, and they found a Mickey Mouse t-shirt that they had seen him in some of the video footage. And also a student card with the name Luca Magnotta on it in the toilet. It looked like it looked like he tried to flush it. So the hotel manager said that he had put down the name Kirk Trammell and had paid for 8 or 9 nights in cash. It turns out that Luca had then boarded a Eurolines bus that took him to Berlin, Germany. And on June 4th, 2012, Luka Magnotta just couldn't help himself. Had to see what people were talking about in the media. So he went to an internet cafe. What Luca was unaware of at the time was that the guy who was working at the internet cafe was a very avid news reader. And he had only just read a horrific story about a psycho Canadian man who had killed and dismembered another man and then sent his body parts to prominent Canadian politicians. It was difficult to forget because it was so fucked up.
Yeah, you're not going to forget that.
Yeah. Then, all of a sudden, the man from the news had appeared in his cafe. The odds.
Yeah. So, that's a coincidence.
Isn't that crazy? To be this guy. So this guy, he played it really cool. He was actually super impressive the way he handled this entire situation.
This is actually really cool.
Yeah. So Luca politely asked to use one of the computers. So the guy led him to the back of the cafe to computer number 25. He chose this one specifically so that he could watch what Luca was doing and so that Luca would have his back to him. So that's the way it was situated. The guy wanted to be sure that it was actually Luka Magnotta before he called the cops. So he went back there and started emptying trash bins and making himself look busy while actually spying and seeing what Luka was doing on the internet. This guy saw Luka was on the Interpol website looking at his own photo, and that's when he knew it was him. So he called the authorities, who I think they just happened to be doing some sort of training or something where they were driving around with a bunch of guys. And so they arrived with a ton of guys and just arrested him, and it was super badass and awesome, and everybody cheered, and it was great. So after the arrest, and they got in touch with Canada, whatever, the Canadians asked the Germans to extradite him ASAP. But the Germans had trouble finding a plane to put him on because no airline wanted to be associated with this asshole, and no one could fathom putting him on a commercial flight with other people, seeing as his face was so recognizable.
Yeah.
He was simply too vile and too recognizable. So they had to ask the Canadian military to go get him with one of their planes, which was something that had never been done before. but they didn't. So, blah, 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 blah. Luca was back in Canada and he wasn't doing a lot of talking. Most of the police and detectives who interacted with him noted how small and meek he looked. And at first, when he was brought in, he seemed almost a little bit smug, but and like this was his plan all along. Like, and that's what it kind of looked like when he was on the plane. But the smirk on his face quickly faded when he was put behind bars.
Interesting.
So
was it not his plan all along?
Well, it was, but I think like probably the reality set in once he
It
was
got
like
real,
in
yeah.
an interrogation room. I watched a little bit of footage from his interrogation.
Oh, you've seen it?
Well, I've seen them like start questioning him and he just like doesn't answer. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. Blah, blah, blah. Like he's just like
but
really
you
not.
live for attention, sir.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he just doesn't seem like what he was putting out on the internet was like so bold and so
yes
insane and like seemed like somebody who wanted so much attention, but then as soon as he was caught he was like and he's like, there's one part in when he's like in the interrogation room and they like leave him in there for a while and he's just like, he stands up and he's like, can somebody help me? I need help. I need a sweater.
Oh my God, stop
like,
it.
Fuck you and your fucking sweater.
Yeah.
So things were underway for the trial and experts were brought in to assess Luca for both the prosecution and the defense. And one of the first things to be brought up by Luca was a person by the name of Manny. Now, to most people, Manny was a new character in this whole saga, but not everyone. Luca's mother had heard the name Manny when she had first started asking him about these cat killing videos that people had been talking about. So she called him and asked him why he did it. And Luca said that there was a man named Manny who had been forcing him to do these things.
Luca, I haven't heard of this.
Yeah. Well, Don't Fuck with Cats gets into this in a really interesting way. I'll just say. So Luca described Manny as some sort of pimp who was controlling him. And he told...
This is very Son of Sam.
I don't know what aspect of that you're talking about.
Because he claimed that his neighbor's dog was possessed by a demon and was telling him what to do and commit the murders. But he was just like saying that.
Yeah. He's claiming this is a real person.
Mm-hmm.
And Luca described, it said that he was controlling him, whatever. And he told her, he said, go to the end of the Python video and you'll see a second set of hands.
Okay, I have heard of this, yes.
And then he said that was Manny. So his mother did look at that video and lo and behold, there is somebody else there. A second set of hands is, of course, not proof of anything, but it was enough for Luca's mother, who obviously did not want to think that her son was as fucked up as he was. So she, after that, she was like, oh, I believe you. There's another person. This is not your fault, sweetie, whatever. As for the hands, we don't know exactly who they belong to, but my guess is that they belong to the owner of the python. It is shocking to watch a python kill a cat, but to the person who owns the python and to watch it like eat live prey or whatever, like I don't think it's probably not a huge deal to that person. So like,
plus honestly, Madison, most people who have a huge python, like, you know,
they don't give a fuck. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have small pythons, like normal sized pythons. Therefore, I'm pretty normal, you know, but
yeah, exactly. So, but my point being that like I think people see that and are like, oh my God, like this person would have known what he was doing. And it's like, this person was probably just a python owner who was like, sweet, a free meal.
Yeah. Just a typical, you know, python keeper, super normal guy, I'm sure.
Yeah. A lot. He's hanging out with Luka Magnotta. So like,
and none of us snake people are normal. I'll include myself in that. Although I would not be involved in anything like this.
No, this is sick.
Yeah.
So the mother buys into the Manny situation. Fine. Then there was this lawyer named Romeo Salta who was featured in Don't Fuck with Cats. And in 2011, Luca contacted him in an absolute panic, saying that he had to meet with him. It was a matter of life and death. And this lawyer is in New York. So upon meeting Romeo for the first time, he first told him how much he looked like Michael Douglas, the actor, which will come into play later.
Okay.
He told Romeo that he had been accused of killing a cat, but that he was forced to do it by a man named Manny, and that Manny was torturing him and forcing him to do things against his will. And so Romeo was like, okay, well, like, let's like report him to the police. And so later, he then sent Romeo a list of things that he claimed Manny had done to him or made him do, which included, he wrote, quote, strangled me with hands and an electrical cord, forced me to eat animal parts, stabbed me with a pen and pencil, forced me to buy worms and eat them, forced me to have sex with a puppy and numerous cats.
What?
So these were claims that he was saying that things that Manny did to
There's
him.
a bit of an escalation, like forced me to eat a worm. Okay, I mean,
And
not
then
the
forced you
worst
to have
thing.
sex with a dog and multiple
A
cats.
puppy.
A puppy, yeah, specifically a puppy.
Ugh.
He also sent a photo of himself with a black eye and some other injuries and claimed that Manny had caused these injuries. And then about a week later, Romeo got a phone call from the Miami Police Department regarding Luca. He was in the hospital and claimed to have been drugged, kidnapped, and raped by Manny and other people and then left on the beach. The police then found him on the beach and took him into the hospital.
Wow.
So that really made this lawyer, Romeo, buy into the whole Manny thing. Yeah. Obviously. So after Luca's arrest, Luca began to bring up Manny again. He told his defense lawyers that about this, and they initially bought into it because they began to look into the claims and found that Luca had brought up his name years before. They found the lawyer, they talked to the mom. It wasn't, so it did, there was a claim that did seem to have some, what am I trying to say here?
Like legitimacy to it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
To this day, this Manny character has never been found. But here's what they did find out in regards to the name Manny. And mind you, this discovery was made by the internet sleuths who had been tracking down Luca. And this part is portrayed in Don't Fuck with Cats in a really interesting way, and it's fascinating, and I highly suggest you go look at it. It's like in the last episode. Okay. So here we are with the internet sleuths. So upon looking through a list of aliases that Luca had been using online, they realized that the name Kirk Trammell was very similar to the name Catherine Trammell, which was the female lead in the movie Basic Instinct. Now, Luca's mother had mentioned that Luca really liked old Hollywood movies, and she even had a keychain of the Basic Instinct movie poster that Luca had given her. When these internet people actually watched the movie, they were stunned.
I love they watched the movie.
Yeah. It appeared that the entire murder and all the fleeing and everything was just a big homage to that movie.
Really?
Yes. So in the beginning of the movie, Catherine Trammell is seen naked on top of her boyfriend, having sex with him on a bed. His arms are tied to the bed, just like Joon Lin's were in the Ice Pig movie. There's a stained glass window right above the bed. And in the video, Luca had the Casablanca movie poster. I guess that was the best he could do. In Basic Instinct, Catherine has sex with the boyfriend and then pulls out an ice pick and begins stabbing him.
No way. And this is not like this is like a movie that's allowed.
Yeah, this is like a regular movie. It's a very popular movie. Later in the film, she's seen in an interrogation room smoking a cigarette and crossing her legs exactly like Luca had done when he was being interrogated.
Wow.
And then she tries to blame her abusive ex-boyfriend named Manuel Vasquez. Also, Michael Douglas is in the movie. I believe he plays a detective, not a lawyer.
Wow.
And he specifically sought out this lawyer and very specifically said to him, "You look like Michael Douglas."
So weird.
So after figuring this all out, they realized that Manny was not real. And they also realized how fucked up Luka Magnotta was. Like, this whole thing was just a game to him. It's like, I don't even understand it, to be honest, but like, you have to think, like, he saw these movies, he idolized these movies and these movie stars and whatever. And he just wanted to be, like, he wanted to be in a movie like that. He wanted to make his life a movie.
Sure.
and like be the center of attention in all of it. And
Yes,
like look at the
yes.
lengths he went through
Which is
to do that.
crazy. I think he just had like nothing else going for him, right?
Yeah. And even, oh my God, baby, be quiet. Even if you don't feel like watching the whole 3 parts, like it's so fascinating to just go to this part and see them piece all of this together and like see them put the footage side by side. It's fascinating.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
So this is a crazy person.
Yeah.
So Luka Magnotta originally pled not guilty, and the defense requested a mental evaluation. Luka was evaluated, as I said before, by multiple psychiatric experts, both for the defense.
I mean, he's got something. Yeah, definitely. It's not.
Yes. So Dr. Joel Watts, a forensic psychiatrist, and he had met Luka, and he had actually accompanied him on the flight back to Canada and noted lots of stuff about him. He noted that his hygiene was not good, that he appeared to be in an acute state of paranoia. Dr. Watts didn't know whether or not to believe that this act was real or not, and like went on to try to figure that out. Dr. Watts.
What do you mean if it wasn't real?
No,
his act. Got it.
Yeah, just
the
like
way he was
whether
acting.
or not.
Yeah.
So Dr. Watts went on to interview Luka many times over the next 4 months. And he reached the very controversial opinion that Luka was not criminally responsible for his crimes. So Dr. Watts knew that people would not be happy to hear this, but he remained firm in his opinion. He felt that Luka was clearly suffering from schizophrenia, which he had been diagnosed with before in the past.
Right. And that he was... And his dad had it.
Yeah. I think there's no question that he... And I don't... Maybe there is a question. I think there's always a question in psychiatry, but it's not crazy to believe that he was schizophrenic, but there's a difference between legally insane and...
Yeah, like he seems
disorder.
like he was aware of what he was doing.
So that's the question, right? And so Dr. Watts feels that he was in a state of psychosis when he planned and committed the murder and fled. So he's trying to claim.
And how was he in psychosis when he's sitting in a cafe Googling himself?
That is the claim of Dr. Watts. Okay. And it is a very controversial claim that many people disagree with.
Do you agree?
I don't know enough about, like, you'd have to like really sit down and interview Luka Magnotta and to really understand. I don't think, like, clearly this guy has spent a lot more time with him. I have like, I could theorize about things,
tell me
but
what
I
you
really
theorize.
don't know.
So, like, what's your like opinion on it?
I really don't know. It just does seem like he has schizophrenia. It does seem like he has some mental illness that probably contributed to this. But like, this is really meticulously planned out.
So premeditated.
Really premeditated. I don't know. And like, look, I'll get into it, but there's other expert witnesses, or there's other psychiatric experts who disagree. So this is one opinion among, I think it was 5.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So he claims that you can be in a prolonged state of psychosis, and that's what happened.
Okay.
So, the actual trial of Luka Magnotta began on September 29th, 2014 in Montreal. Magnotta's lawyers were arguing that he was not responsible for his crimes due to mental illness. Sure. Always a fascinating defense. The prosecution, however, had a lot of evidence to indicate that the murder of Joon Lin was very premeditated.
Right.
As we know, there is ample video footage of Luka, first of all, going into the apartment with Joon Lin, before buying the items that he used to murder him, very calmly disposing of the body and all the evidence, not to mention everything he did after the fact, the whole basic instinct thing. They also claim that he was more than capable of faking his symptoms. Interestingly, as I said, Dr. Watts claims that individuals with delusions are often still able to behave in a very organized way. So that's how he's saying that he was able to, like, he's saying that he was suffering from delusions, and like that's why he was doing this shit.
I mean, yeah, he definitely was, but that doesn't mean he wasn't also like in control of his actions.
Yeah, and that's the real question, and it's a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
So the trial lasted for 12 weeks, which included 10 weeks of testimony.
Wow,
Luca did
okay.
not testify.
Interesting.
And multiple experts who testified, 1 independent, 2 for the Crown, and 3 for the defense, including Dr. Watts. And all of them gave different diagnoses. And I can tell you, so the independent expert witness said that Luca was suffering from borderline personality disorder with histrionic traits.
I could see that.
The first one for the Crown, and in Canada, it's the prosecution is called the Crown, in case anyone's confused. The Crown, the first expert witness said that he was suffering from borderline personality disorder. The second Crown expert said that he was suffering from antisocial personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder. Now for the defense expert, the first one claimed paranoid schizophrenia. The second one said schizophrenia, histrionic personality disorder, borderline personality traits, and paraphilia. And the last one for the defense said paranoid schizophrenia. So it's very interesting. It seems that the defense people really put the schizophrenia up front.
Yeah.
Which seems more like what you would
he didn't
like
mean
more
it.
Psychosis-y.
And he has been diagnosed with that in the past. So I definitely think it's not so out of nowhere. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, he could be schizophrenic for sure, but also, they're the defense, so they're gonna be trying to
exactly. But the Crown experts and the independents one, none of them said anything about schizophrenia, and they all put forth borderline personality disorder, which tends to be much more. It seems like you're much more in control of yourself, or thought to be, but more in control of yourself than schizophrenia. Yeah. Or it's more like personality disorders are not. You can't really use personality disorders as
yes, it's not the same as saying he's insane or like having a mental break necessarily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense based on where these experts are coming from.
Yeah.
Or like for who they're testifying for. And that in that sense, like I feel like it's hard to take their it's hard to know how to weight.
Yeah, for sure. There's bias
theories, right?
You know what this reminds me of? Another Canadian murderer who was diagnosed schizophrenic and got away free and is living freely now. May have attacked somebody on a bus.
Oh yeah, I was looking into that case recently.
And it's so interesting. It's like almost the same thing, except this was clearly way more premeditated.
Yeah.
But good thing that didn't happen with Luka Magnotta. Like, imagine if they were like, yeah, go on, go free, go back into society.
Oh my God, there's no way.
Oh.
Oof. So after 8 days of deliberation, the jury decided that Luka Magnotta was considered legally sane on the day of the murder.
Good.
He was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison with possibility of parole in 25 years, which is the harshest.
It's all we can do, okay? It's all we can do.
Yeah, harshest sentence available in Canada.
Yes.
Best we could do.
Yeah, that's all we got.
Yeah, I doubt he will get parole.
Dear God, I hope not.
So all of this went down in 2014. Luka Magnotta is now 41 years old and still behind bars. In 2015, he signed up for an inmate dating site, which crazy that exists.
Yeah.
And it was called Canadian Inmates Connect.
That's shocking that exists.
I know.
How do they date? Just online? Like, they can't meet each other?
They can if they're in the same prison.
This is so weird.
And he met another inmate named Anthony Joon Lin. And on June 26th...
things like this, it's like, if he can find someone, like...
Yeah, what's your excuse? Person.
Oh, God.
And then on June 26, 2017, the couple got married.
No.
They got married.
Who is? Tell me about this person. Who is this person?
I don't know.
You want to marry like
Luka Magnotta? I know. let me see. Anthony.
That's really questionable.
I mean,
Like, I've made some dating choices in my life, but I don't know.
he's a convicted murderer,
Yeah, well, there you
also
go.
serving a life sentence.
Okay, that makes
He
sense though.
committed a long list of crimes over the years, including robbery with a firearm, which landed him 6 years, and then I guess he killed somebody.
Okay, that makes sense then.
So it seems like a
On
cool
the same,
guy.
he's like on the same level, so
I mean, probably not as fucked up, but like,
yeah,
yeah,
but he's not going to be like, oh, you murdered someone's like, I did too, so
yeah.
we
I
should
mean,
date.
what do you, at that point, it's like, yeah, okay, kind of cancels it out.
Yeah.
Luca's mother, Anna, attended the wedding as a witness.
You know
So,
what? I feel like she's one of those moms out of all the serial killer mom, or I guess he's not a serial killer, but unless you count the cats, but the moms that are like, oh, I probably had something to do with this. I should just be really supportive now,
oh, for sure. It's like
you know?
so clear that it's like, oh, this is your fault.
Yeah, you really fucked up bad.
You
She's like, now I'll
really
just
fucked
blindly
up.
support you to make up for it.
Exactly. Um, the couple are not allowed to use the private family visitation center or have any
Good.
type of cohabitation situation within the prison.
Yeah. You don't
But
deserve to like have a like date people.
but the couple do share movie nights, and Luca
Stop
participates
it.
in art classes and language studies.
I mean, fine. I don't know. Maybe he should be allowed. I don't know. I don't know what's fair.
Yeah, I don't
I don't know
know.
what's right or wrong.
Sorry, I keep sniffing, but
No, go ahead.
well, it just
Sniff.
depends on like. I mean, I think like looking at like how what it was like for Carla Homolka in prison. It's like,
Oh
like
yeah. Just
fuck
vibing.
you. I don't think it's crazy that they do like classes and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess,
It's hard.
honestly.
It's hard because on the one hand, you're like, there's all these people who are like, who are so bad that you're like, I want prison to be a punishment for you. But then also, there's all these people who are like, and
Yes,
this is like
like circumstances kind of landed them there or wrongfully convicted or whatever.
no, I just mean like there's people talk about all the time about how there's like too many people in prison and that we want prison to be a rehabilitation
Oh, got it.
thing. Like if we do want people to be rehabilitated, especially in Canada, because in theory nobody's in there for life, they have the possibility of parole. If they're ever going to come out again, you do want them to be able to like do shit like that so that they can be rehabilitated and they can
Yeah.
experience like some sort of and also like there are people in there who shouldn't be in there and you can't really
Yes.
differentiate from that. It's a little bit more complicated, I think, than that, but it's like when you hear
Yeah, it is
about somebody
complicated.
like Luka Magnotta or like BTK or like Carla
Right.
Homolka and then you see them like doing art classes, it's like, yo, fuck yourself.
It's like, where are
So
my art classes? I didn't
it's
even
like
murder anybody.
exactly, it's like art classes are expensive. Like I was taking pottery classes, like
Yeah.
$500 for classes.
I know. I want to go to art classes. Like, that's not fair.
Yeah, so there's that like visceral reaction, but then you kind of have to think about it a little bit more. And like where do you come down on prison? Do you think it should be
Yeah.
really a rehabilitation place? Then you kind of don't want it to be like a shithole, right?
Yeah, I think it could depend. Like, I was reading a story today about this woman who was recently pardoned, and she had gotten life in prison for, I think it was like she had murdered a man, but he was like sex trafficking her and abusing her.
Yeah,
So
I
it's kind
saw
of
that.
like, and I think she had a few prior offenses, and she recently got pardoned. She served 18 years, and she had been taking classes in prison, and one of the reasons that they had officially pardoned her is because they were saying, well, she's clearly bettered herself from who she used to be, and she's put in all this effort to rehabilitate and all that, which is very true, right? In that type of circumstance, and honestly, like where like I don't know, like sometimes when you're in an abusive situation, like there's really no way out, and it's not like she murdered someone, you know what I mean? Like this
No, it
person
seems
was
like that
abusing her.
like murder was like whether or
It's
not it was
self-defense
legally
essentially.
justified, like it seemed morally justified.
It was essentially self-defense. So for her, like, yeah, you deserve all the art classes and then also to get out of prison. Because in my opinion, obviously biased because I'm a woman too, but like I don't think that's right. But then if it's somebody who is like, a serial murderer, killing innocent people, like, I don't know. Can you
Yeah,
be rehabilitated?
it's just hard to like be able to differentiate that
Yeah, on
because
paper, right?
yeah, it's like it's not necessarily like it could be in theory, but it's not necessarily that easy to like you can't just be like, okay, everybody who's done this, this, and this, you're over there in solitary confinement, and everybody who's like done lesser than that, you get to do the classes.
Yeah.
It's just not, it's not, it doesn't divide that that easily, I
Yeah.
think. And again, in Canada, we technically don't have a real life sentence, like a no, like life without parole. So in
Yeah.
theory, everybody will possibly see the light of day again. And if you are going to be doing that, then is putting someone in a hole for 25 years and never letting them do anything good,
Yeah.
like, is that a really a recipe for like a good situation? I don't know.
Probably not.
I doubt it.
No.
So it's hard. Um, but yeah, Luca does do classes. Now in 2018, Anna, Luca's mother, co-wrote a book about Luca
Did
called
she now?
My Son the Killer: The Untold Story of Luka Magnotta and One Lunatic, One Ice Pick.
Was it called My Son? It wasn't my fault at all.
I did this. Yeah, I don't know.
Did
And I
you
don't
like look into the book at all?
know, but I
I'm
think
sure it was a
probably like
bestseller.
no one bought it.
Yeah.
Let me see if it's on Amazon. Oh, not good ratings.
Shocking.
I think it is on Amazon. Yeah, it's on Amazon. Oh, it
Maybe
has 4 out of 5 stars.
that's pretty good.
Let me see if it has reviews.
Is it just about his childhood or something?
Someone said, "Don't read unless you want to believe Magnata was an angel failed by everyone except his family.
Oh. Uh,
His mom diminishes his accountability for his horrendous crimes. Kind of
does she now?
slow and no rational explanations. Not so great.
Okay.
Pages falling out. Please do not support these monsters. Do not buy." So, not
That's
a lot
kind of
of
the annoying
fans.
thing too. It's like they profit probably. So
Exactly.
get
Um,
that. Isn't
but
there
I
a
guess,
law against profiting? But I guess it's only the murder itself can't the murderer
yeah,
themselves
so
can't.
this would be his mom, not him.
Actually, I think that's the Son of Sam law. It's called the Son of Sam law, at least in
Oh, really?
America, because he was trying to profit off of his shit. I mean,
Fascinating.
John Wayne Gacy sold a bunch of his paintings, but
Yeah,
that was
but I
before.
guess John Wayne Gacy was before Son of
It
Sam.
was before, yeah.
So anyway, Luca is currently battling with the court. He wants to be
Is
sent
he?
to a medium security prison so that he can
Oh
have more freedom. And the court at
no.
first denied his request. So now Luca's lawyers have taken a request to a federal judge and are trying to get them to make a decision, but the judge is like, we'll get back to you in multiple months. And it's not looking good for Luca.
I mean, yeah.
Hopefully he gets denied. And that's the Luca Magnotta story for you.
That is quite the tale.
And yeah, he's still rotting away in prison. We'll see what happens when he's up for parole.
Yeah, so but
What
that's
year?
not that's 14 more years, I think. 2014, 15 more years. I don't know. Time.
Yeah, it all went down to 2014. So we have another
15 years? I don't know.
2014,
Watch us just
2016,
struggle to do math right
24, 34, 39,
now.
30, 39. Yeah, in 2039, he'll
Okay.
be up for parole. And I hope he doesn't get it.
No, really, like we don't think so, right? He didn't get the dangerous offender status though?
I don't think so. It
Which
wasn't
is a
mentioned
little bit
anywhere.
crazy, right?
It is, but who else has got it? Paul
Paul,
Bernardo,
did
Adam
Russell Williams get
Strong.
it?
I don't know if Russell Williams got it. Russell Williams was very apologetic at his trial,
Okay.
so that they might have taken that into account. I don't know.
What about Robert Picton probably has it?
Probably he'd have to if he didn't get it, then that's fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, he had a lot of accomplices though that are just vibing, but whatever.
But so many bodies.
Yeah, but I don't think it was all just him.
No, I agree.
But he just took the fall. Yeah, I mean, I really hope he doesn't get out. I think he deserves to be in prison for life. It's interesting how it seemed like he wanted to be caught and he wanted to be famous, but then as soon as he actually was caught, he was like, wait, fuck, no,
It's like,
I
wait,
actually don't want
no.
this. Yeah. Like what that almost seems like maybe he was in a little bit of psychosis. Like I don't want to give him that, but it's like,
That would be like 1 point for that.
you know,
Yeah, I just don't. It does seem like he really did have some serious mental health issues.
yeah, for sure. But I mean, yeah, the way he grew up, he has like a history of mental health. I'm just going to do a quick Google on histrionic personality disorder. Is that when you need attention and you get it in unhealthy ways?
I don't quite remember. Let me know
I'm
when you
doing a
find
quick
it.
search. It's marked by unstable emotions, a distorted self-image, and an overwhelming desire to be noticed.
Yeah, okay.
So people with HP often behave dramatically or inappropriately to get attention. That sounds accurate.
Yes. Hit the
So
nail on the head there, guys.
yeah, and it probably was some sort of like, genetic slash upbringing type situation. It makes sense why he was that way because he like didn't have friends as a kid. He was homeschooled and also his dad was abusive and his mom was dysfunctional and then his grandmother was abusive. Like he didn't have healthy attention in his life probably ever. So he got dysfunctional and whatever. And the borderline makes sense too, but and schizophrenia, like I think he definitely had a lot of severe mental health problems, and it is one of those things where you wonder, like, had he gotten help early, would this have happened?
Absolutely. And I think that there's like that I buy. That I buy that like this could have been prevented because this is like out of control insane what he did.
Yeah.
Um but was he not able to control himself? I don't know if I buy that.
Yeah, I think he was like, when people are like functioning alcoholics, that's kind of the vibe I get from him. Like he was definitely really internally struggling, obviously, and on an external level to an extent, but he was doing those like things where he was making fake profiles and commenting on himself. Like that is very delusional, but it's also very like not skillful necessarily, but it takes like a lot of work to do that,
It's
if that makes
so
sense.
it's so overly thought out and planned
Yes,
and
yes.
ridiculous and like yeah, it's just really hard to see how somebody was like could not have been in control and been
Yeah. I
so
think a little bit,
controlled.
yeah. I feel like he's also kind of like he's a reflection of all the negatives of the internet in a way,
Yeah,
because
it's a
like
very
we're
cautionary tale.
yeah, like we're kind of children of the internet too, and um I know how like easy it is to like be on chat rooms and like have like your internet friends and like kind of check out from reality to an extent, but because he didn't have like probably a healthy social life outside of it, he just used the internet as his outlet for attention. And,
Yeah,
so
it's very much like catfish.
yeah, it's a similar vibe. It actually really is because those people go so out of their way to craft a fake reality. Um,
Just
there
like
was the
way
one
more
where
harmful.
the guy actually murdered somebody where they were both
Yeah,
catfishing each other.
tall hot blonde.
Yeah, that was crazy. So kind of similar vibes. But yeah, I'm glad he got um, you know, justice, hopefully to an extent.
I never rated this, but I would put this at a
Oh,
9
yeah, yeah.
for how
Anything
like
with a
fucked up it
video,
is.
it's like, I
This
mean,
video footage of the murder, yeah. And then
yeah,
like all the animal killing, like
it just takes it to another level. It really does.
I agree.
Just how real it is.
Okay, I'm gonna have to wrap this up because this baby is screaming and
Okay.
probably
I
wants
still
me to
can't
feed
hear it,
it.
luckily. Hopefully
He's
this will be good
he's
good sound quality.
we'll see because I can hear it in my headphones. So we'll see. Sorry
Okay,
guys.
sorry.
We're doing our best. Um, let us know what you think about this whole thing. And do you think he should have been considered legally insane or
Yeah,
whatever it is now? I don't know.
let us know.
Please
Not
let us
guilty by
know in the
reason of
comments.
insanity.
Fight with us about it. Um, check us out at Who's Knocking Podcast on Instagram, at Who's
Mhm.
Knocking Pod on Twitter. Send us an email, hello@whosknockingpodcast.com. We'd love
YouTube.
to hear from you. YouTube, we're on the tube. Who's Knocking? That's our name
We
there.
just searched that.
Yeah, we're welcome to all the new subscribers. We've had a couple new subscribers, and that's awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for subscribing to us. It's great. And we hope to be able to continue to make tons of new episodes. So if you just follow us, like us, rate and subscribe, that would go a really long way in supporting us. And stay safe out there, because you never know
who's knocking.
This podcast is produced in collaboration with Lost Line Media. Artwork by August Digital. Music by Matthew Cook.